Is Attack on Titan fascist? Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, bringing you the obvious. And today, on Polygon.com, anime. The fascist subtext of Attack on Titan can't go overlooked. The story twist exposes the ugly side of the manga in anime. By Tom Spielman. The modern manga and anime industries would not exist without Attack on Titan. Citation needed. Without Hajime's Isayama's dystopian series and its massive global fanbase, Crunchyroll would have remained a curiosity instead of the global streaming powerhouse and anime production partner it has become. First of all, no, there's been more than that. More than Attack on Titan. You absolute normie, this tells me you don't know what you're talking about. Which is what I expected from Polygon, honestly. But I don't even like Crunchyroll. Similarly, without rights to the anime, which concludes its third season this month, Netflix certainly wouldn't have become a big enough player in the anime market to license all of Neon Genesis and Evangelion. I really doubt it has anything to do with that. Netflix just loves spending money, so they've been buying up all sorts of rights. Ditto Adult Swim, which licensed Funimation's Attack on Titan dub for its Saturday night Toonami block, a revival of the beloved after-school anime block. I miss Toonami. And saw its fortunes rise so highly that Adult Swim was able to help produce 2 follow-up seasons to the legendary anime FLCL. And I assume that's Fooly Cooly. I can't wait to watch them ruin it. Then again, I was never really a big fan. But recent events within the manga have given readers pause. In particular, the major twist of the series, as well as what's been occurring since then, has drawn some uncomfortable parallels to anti-small hat and right-wing Japanese politics, as well as Isayama's own personal politics. And who am I kidding? It's not like I'm gonna get any monetization from this, because nothing gets monetized, because fuck this platform. Well aimed at, I use the substitute words in an effort to play nice with the algorithms and YouTube, but the reality is, they don't care. I'm never gonna get monetized. We already said the bad no-no word, fascist. It's literally 1984, isn't it? Welcome to Newspeak, where even Newspeak doesn't matter. These ideas are what is being banned. While aimed at a slightly older audience than the big 3 manga/anime of the early 2000s, Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece, Attack on Titan made many more anime fans out of casual watchers, arriving as it did at the crest of the young adult dystopian fiction wave in the West. And while that fever has died off from its circa 2014 high point, the series still has plenty of devoted followers who snap up every single video game spin-off and parody manga. And here's a picture of the Disney princess, Captain Levi, defeating a Titan. There was an original comics anthology by Western talent featuring creators like Scott Snyder, Gail Simone, and Ronald Wimberly, an original young adult novel, Garrison Girl by Rachel Eren, and even a crossover with Marvel in which the Avengers, Spider-Man, and the Guardians of the Galaxy fought Titans in New York City, a story devised by Isayama, with art by Gerardo Sandoval and a script by Marvel's editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski. The series, published monthly in Kodansha's Bisatsu shonen manga in Japan, is now in its final arc, but there seems to be no end to the wider franchise in sight. But as with any long-running manga, the closer you get to its endgame, the easier it is to see what the message of the series really is, and the message of Attack on Titan appears to have anti-small hat and pro-fascist leanings. Given the cyclical nature of manga production and anime seasons, the fandom's chatter around Titan themes comes and goes, and now that anime's 3rd season is just getting to the start of where this all becomes clear. It's a good time to unpack it all. I can already see where this is going, and it's absolutely dumb. So far, what we've seen is not anti-small hat, it's pro-small hat, because it paints the small hats as the oppressed group. Where are you getting this from, you freaking normies? Do you even watch the anime? The big twist of Attack on Titan. For the series' first several arcs, protagonist Eren Yeager was driven by 2 things. First, to destroy every single Titan he could find, to avenge his mother's death and the destruction of his hometown. And second, to make his way back to the ruins of his house, to use the key his father gave him to discover what was hidden in their basement. Even with all the complications thrown his way, including learning he could transform into a Titan, Eren never wavered in this. Oh, nope, they haven't seen the anime. Okay. This is how I know they're full of it. This is why Polygon shouldn't write articles and should probably be shut down. Waven was absolutely Chad, and then the author decided to make him a little pansy So he's all, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, can I really save the world? Blah, blah, blah. He's been acting like a little biatch. And it's been really annoying. Okay, so, yeah, he's wavered. Freaking normies. In the series' 85th chapter, Eren finally got his answer. Making his way to the basement at long last, Eren discovered a photograph, something he'd never heard of his father with another wife and son. Chad. The following chapters show the journal of Eren's father, Grisha, revealing that he was actually from the outside world. That is to say, what Eren and the other characters thought all along, that humanity was largely destroyed by the Titans, with its remnants being sealed up behind 3 wings of walls to defend themselves from monsters was wrong. Grisha, the journal explained, was actually from the nation of Marley, and like our main characters, was a member of the race known as Eldians. The Eldians, the journal revealed, once ruled the world, their reign stretching back 2,000 years. In that era, a woman named Ymir Fritz somehow acquired the power to become a Titan. Just exactly how has never been clearly said. Well, I mean, from my when I saw the episode, I assumed that she was the original Titan. I don't know if she turned into a Titan. I thought, from what I could tell, she was always a Titan and was a Titan god. So I'm not sure that's an accurate interpretation. And used it to establish the nation of Eldia. 13 years later, Ymir died, the fate of all who can become Titans. Citation needed. Which split her soul into the 9 Titans, whose power was given to 9 subjects. Passing down their powers through noble bloodlines, the 9 Titans established the world-conquering, blood-soaked legacy of the Eldian Empire, and in particular, devastated the nation of Marley. Infighting eventually consumed the Titans' nobility, and eventually the 145th Eldian king, Karl Fritz, was ashamed of his people's legacy and how they'd conquered Marley. He orchestrated a civil war that destroyed the Eldian Empire, allowing Marley to swoop in and acquire the majority of the 9 Titans. Yeah, and it was a mistake. It was an absolute mistake. This is why nationalism is so important. Don't throw your damn people to the wolves just because, oh, we had to fight. Oh my god, we had to fight wars. I'm so ashamed. Oh, that cuck logic. Conquering is how you establish an empire. It's how you build a nation. After that is prosperity. Overthrow your country, goddamn traitor. Fritz took the majority of the Eldians, the ancestors of the series' main characters, to the island of Paradis, where he rewrote their memories to make them think they were the last of humanity, forcibly turned thousands of Eldians into colossal Titans, and built the 3 walls over them. Back in Marley, the remaining Eldians were herded into ghettos, forced to wear identifying armbands with star-shaped symbols. We'll come back to that. And they were shunned as second-class citizens. See what I mean? The Eldians are the oppressed. Eldian criminals were taken to Paradis, injected with Titan spinal fluid, and turned into mindless Titans to ravage the island for eternity. In modern day, Grisha, Eren's father, was swept up in a movement to topple the Marleyan government and restore the Eldian monarchy. Red-pilled. He even marred the royal heiress and had a son. Eren's older half-brother Zeke, but when he was 7, Zeke betrayed his parents. Again, traitor. And their movement to the Marleyan government, and Grisha and his wife were taken to Paradis. But while his royal first wife was transformed into a Titan, the same one who ate Eren's mother at Titan's start, Grisha was spared by a Marleyan soldier. The soldier was the head of the anti-Marley pro-monarchy movement, and he sent Grisha on a mission to find the descendants of Eldian royalty in Paradis and steal the power of the founding Titan. Eventually, Grisha accomplished his mission, only to learn that his second wife had been devoured. He went mad with grief and injected Eren with Titan fluid, which gave him the powers of the attack Titan and turned him into a mindless monster, whereupon he ate Grisha. After Grisha's journal gave Eren and his friends the knowledge their civilization wasn't alone after all, they staged a massive military coup of their own government. Seizing control of Paradis, they began plans to close the 100-year technological gap between them and the rest of the world, and re-establish the Eldian nation. Currently, the Attack on Titan manga is in its final arc, with a 4-year time jump ending in Eren and his followers attacking Marleyan soil in front of the international dignitaries without the authorization of the Paradis government. Meanwhile, 100 soldiers have formed a faction in support of Eren's goals of Eldian restoration, assassinating the current government head and plotting to carry out Eren's plan to create a new Eldian Empire via the rumbling. Dude, if this is what's going to happen in the story, then I'm hype, because this is based. That is, helping Eren awaken every single Titan inside the walls and using them to destroy the world. Whoa, boy! based and red-pilled. That sounds freaking awesome. If that's gonna be Eren's plan, I totally support it. The weak should fear the strong. Okay, now, so we're gonna listen to them whine and complain about how awesome this story is. The good, the bad, and the very bad. Despite being vowed by Studios Wit's dynamic visuals and the undeniably badass first opening theme song, I could never get into Attack on Titan. Because you're a soy boy. But having read the entire manga, I acknowledge Isayama has some strengths. For one thing, his pencils are filled with pure energy, and his inks are very good at capturing the pure horror that envelops the characters time and time again. Hey, you sound like a modern artist. For another, the tension successfully generated before each big plot twist is enviable. All those elements are only emboldened in Kodanasha's comics English language release, with Ko Ransom and Sheldon Jakaz's nuanced translations and legendary Steve Wan's potent lettering. But well-dressed aesthetics and pacing can only do so much before you start to notice the ideas bubbling underneath the surface. Isayama's work is full of anti-Korean, nationalist pro-Japan subtext, parallels to anti-small hat conspiracy theories, and subtextual references to World War II Germany. So what, you little cuck? For one thing, they're so-called pure titans, the random titans that menace our characters throughout the series. Nude, creepily smiling cannibals. These pure titans are mindless, not even needing to eat to live, so much as for fun. Many of them have grotesque or exaggerated features, from short arms to giant heads, to large noses. And then there's Eldians living in ghettos, wearing star-embroidered armbands. Dude, I think you're overlooking this. The Titans are just ugly. Period. You're really stretching here. For another, military might is presented as the strongest, truest power of all. It is! You little limp-wristed soy boy. Holy moly! Imagine a country without an army. You would be invaded by foreigners in seconds and lose everything. Perhaps that is the true meaning of Attack on Titan. A country must be nationalist. A country must build walls. A country must fight against foreign invaders or perish and be enslaved. This goes far beyond the typical theme in Japanese action media in a group of friends banding together, doing their best, and changing the world. Aww. Isn't that sweet? The power of friendship. Frequently the military, particularly the Survey Corps that the Eren and the rest of the main cast belong to, is presented as full of pure rational decision makers and unquestioned commanders. Do you miss the part where they lose their lives fighting Titans? The clearly unhinged soldiers like Titan researcher Zohange and the goofball Sasha Blaus are mocked, but the certitude that they should lead is never interrogated. Stepping back from the text itself, to what Isayama has said about the text, there are all sorts of uncomfortable parallels to the real-world history. In a 2010 blog post, Isayama, who has always maintained the series was inspired an incident where he was accosted by a large, drunk foreign man at a cafe, admitted that a supporting character, Willie General Pixis, was based on real-life Japanese General Akiyama Yoshifuru, who served in the Japanese Imperial Army from 1916 to 1923, considered a hero in Japan, with Isayama admitting he found the general an admirable figure for his actions in the First Sino-Japanese War. Yoshifuru was responsible for countless atrocities against Korea and China during Japanese occupations. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I really don't. Korea, China, and Japan do not get along. They all hate each other, they all fight each other, and they've all committed war crimes against each other. Crimea River. As popular advice blog Ask a Korean detailed in 2007, said anti-Korean atrocities continued long after Yoshifuru's retirement, including the assassination of then Empress Myeong-song, rioting and massacring of thousands of Koreans, blah blah blah. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. For its part, China has simply banned Attack on Titan outright. Tiananmen Square Massacre of 1986. Then there's the ultimate goal of Jaegerists, who incidentally have very fascist uniform sensibility. Okay, so sexy uniforms are now fascist? You little cuck. Being to reestablish the Eldian Empire and take their bloody revenge on the world. Okay, so you yourself said that this was like Eldians are like the Small Hat Gang. So, I mean, aren't you implying that you think that the Small Hat Gang might have similar motivations? That's kind of crazy, buddy. Many people would say that is insane. Given the unavoidable implied parallels between Eldians in Marley and the Small Hat Gang in World War II Germany, the eventual apocalypse that the manga seems to be building towards is subtextually like something out of Alex Jones' Darkest Ravings. That is to say, it's not hard to draw the line between the Jaegerist, who Eren incidentally seems to tactically endorse, plan of laying waste to the world, and much beloved right-wing talking point that the small hat gang, or as they dog whistle, globalists. No, you don't get it. Globalism has nothing to do with whether you're Jewish or not. Globalism is anybody who's a elite banker who wants countries to never be one and who want to control the world. They don't have to be Jewish. Why do you assume that? Could it be that you're the bigot, Mr. Author? Either already secretly controlling the world, or plotting to through finances, Hollywood, or whatever BS that leaks out of their demented heads this week. But why now? These parallels have been lost on the viewing and reading public. No, maybe the public is just not stupid like you. In an essay for Women Write About Comics, shortly after the anime began, writer Vernita Vergara pointed out that Isayama is old enough to have lived through the Great Recession. The rise of his work coincides with the election of current Japanese Prime Minister and right-wing militarist Shinzo Abe, who infamously reinterpreted Article 9 of Japan's constitution written by the U.S. after WW2. It forbids Japan from having a standing army, to give Japan the ability to increase its self-defense forces and attack when one of its allies is attacked. Which is something I support. I love Japan. Okay, and so this is where the SJW comes out. And I don't even care about monetization. I'm not going to get monetized. All my videos are we don't like this. You can't talk about that. Well, you know what? Go to hell. Because I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell people the truth. And guess what, buddy? There's going to become a point where censorship no longer works. Because everyone already knows the truth. And you will not be able to contain it. So stop fucking around and allow me my free speech. But why are people seemingly only upset now, with the anime no longer at the peak of popularity and the manga winding down? Well, for one, the series still has a devoted fanbase. For another, we live in a world where hateful groups like authoritarianism and nationalism. Imagine being such a little soy boy cuck that you think nationalism is a bad word. Can you imagine having so little loyalty to your own nation that you are not nationalistic? You don't care if your people are safe? You sicken me. Or on the rise from the US to Japan and beyond. And finally, since Titan exploded onto the scene, there's been a surge of anime with right-wing leanings from Gate, a sci-fi show centered around heroic GSDF agents that were actually used as recruitment material by the Japanese army. Yeah, Gate's my favorite piece of Japanese propaganda. My second favorite is Zevida. It's an anime about like world domination. It's basically an anti-smoking ad. It's awesome. To the reemergence of notorious happy science cult and the propagandistic anime films, to the themes found in some of 2018 Studio Trigger hit Darling in the Franxx, which had a horrible ending. I do not recommend this waste of a time. Put simply, the stuff is on people's minds, and the signs are relatively easy to spot. As for why the outrage seemed to occur in cycles, well, like any popular Japanese property, there's always the crowd who read the manga first, and then the anime-only crowd. Given anime's long production time, the Titan's arduous cycle, in particular, with a 4-year gap between the first and second seasons, conversations about its themes are bound to take some time to resurface. Combine that with Titan's staggering release across Crunchyroll, Funimation now, then DVD, and later Adult Swim, and this is a cycle that would keep happening. Now, no one can clearly say what Isayama's true intentions are except for him, but it's hard to ignore the underpinnings of a dystopian fiction when it stares you in the face. It looms over you like the colossal titan, serving as a reminder that even in fiction, maybe especially in fiction, we have a responsibility as consumers to fully engage with what a story might be trying to say, and to consider whether that's a message we want to hear. So I have no respect for this writer or Polygon. You should listen to things you don't want to hear. Maybe it can give you an alternate opinion, okay? And I know this is hard for you to believe, but there's a very strong possibility that your beliefs are wrong, but you refuse to admit it. The comments are mostly circle jerking, so I'm not gonna read them. Basically, they all agree with the author. I checked the comments, and it's not worth reading. Anyways. That's the story, folks. Is Attack on Titan fascistic? I think the answer is no. At most, the anime is nationalistic, and I see nothing wrong with that. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this article? Do you think that Attack on Titan is fascist? Be sure to let me know. Now, because I'm being demonetized constantly, you can support the work I do by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar. There's different tiers. You can join for as low as $1 Doing so will get you access to Fight Club as a small bonus. You can also donate via PayPal, and you can share these videos to spread the red pills. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.